Hi, I'm Gabriel with Anicamp. Previously Yuha was constantly bullied for having a little extra meat on his bones. One day he stumbled upon a door to another world and was granted overpowered leveling abilities and skills. That night he would also undergo a transformation and shocked everyone when he returned to school. Yuha would then develop a love interest in his original world, with the girl he rescued as his previous self. However, he rescues another girl in the new world, and she has now asked him to marry her. The story continues as the princess named Lexi is told that she can't just ask a stranger to marry her, but she explains that it was love at first sight. She begins to bicker with one of her guards, but Yuha points out how more monsters might show up. He invites everyone to his house, and everyone is shocked to hear that he somehow has managed to live in the forest in the darkest region. Lexi formally introduces herself and Yuha Mesa here that she's the first princess of the AIA kingdom. The captain of the knights speculates that Yuha might be a ma wandering the world or perhaps a spy, but Lexi just hopes he is a noble from another kingdom. Lexi explains that she has been searching desperately for Yuha to thank him for saving her. Her heart has not stopped racing since that day, and she asked to marry him again. Yu declines and explains that her proposal was too sudden. Lexi is unfazed though, as she has read that love comes with many obstacles and offers to start as friends instead. Yuha thinks about his lonely past and agrees to be friends. Owen then explains that the king would like to thank Yuha in person, but Ye explains it will have to be another day. And as they leave, Lexi vows to make him fall in love with her eventually elsewhere. A mysterious man's school to subordinate for not eliminating Lexi. He's told that their assassins were killed by monsters while chasing her, but it can't be explained how she managed to survive. The man gives his subordinate one last chance to kill her, and he vows to get a revenge for what Lexi has done to him back in the real world. Ye heads to his first day at his new school and is once again uncomfortable as people stare at him for being so good looking. He's reintroduced to everyone in class and later watches in amazement at how well his friend Rio plays soccer. A girl named Kay wonders if he will join them, but Yu explains that he doesn't have a gym uniform yet. Rio continues to show off his sweet moves, but one other student thinks he can outdo him. He asks for everyone to witness his special move, but they call him an idiot as the ball is about to hit. Yuha quickly saves her while simultaneously scoring a goal, and everyone is in disbelief to have seen the move at such an incredible speed. Kay is safe and the kid vows to serve her with his life, but she doesn't want it. The boy introduces himself as Akira while showing how quirky he is, and everyone has a good laugh afterwards. Akira very excitedly tells Kiri about how Yu has saved her, but she seems disappointed when everyone assumes that someone as cool as him must already have a girlfriend. While in class, you hurry, just then a group of thugs barge into the school to harass the girls, and the teacher tells all the students not to leave the class. They're the Red Ogres and known for being the most dangerous group of delinquents in the city. Kiri tries to stop them from doing anything but is shocked to see Yuha's siblings. They explain that they are there for revenge, but she points out that the cops will be arriving soon. They aren't too worried though, as they still have plenty of time to abduct her. Rio points out how they're powerless to help, but Yuha jumps into action. His body stops though, and Yuha can't understand why. Since he has fought far more dangerous opponents in the other world, he realizes that his body has become much stronger, but his heart is still weak. Yo-Yo begins to pass out, but snaps himself out of it and states say he will be going. Rio points out that the door is in the opposite direction, but Yuha knows what he is doing and shocks everyone when he jumps out the window of the 4th floor. Of course everyone is amazed to see that he is fine, and Ye heads straight towards a gang leader named Iraqi. Iraqi explains that they plan to beat him beyond recognition, but Ye points out that they're just in the way. As he heads for Kiri, a gigantic man stops him to explain that Yuha's quickness and trickiness won't be enough to stop his strength. But it's shocked to find that Yuha is stronger than him. Yuha finally gets to Kiri, but Iraqi refuses to just be embarrassed. Unfortunately for him, his terrible decision to use his motorcycle to attack backfires as Yuha easily dodges it. and he loses control. Yuha has finally saved Kiri, and the police arrive just in time to see that everything is over. Kiri faints, but is caught by Yuha, and classes resumed like normal. Yuha's brother is furious as the red over is proved to be completely useless. But Araki won't be insulted. All the police then just stand by and watch as Araki chokes him out. Yoda pleads for someone to help him, and luckily for the cops, Yuha arrives to do their job. Araki tries to come after Yuha now, but is stopped just by Yur's stare after that. Yur's siblings can't believe that he saved them. He explains that he has not forgotten all the things they did to him, but he just can't abandon family. They cry out of gratefulness, and everyone surrounds Yuha to marvel at how awesome his jump out the window was. Sometime later Yuha prepares to go to the other world, but thinks about how Owen explained how the forest he lives in is one of the most dangerous that exists. The monsters there are at such a high level that they could destroy entire cities. Yuha thinks about how strange it was for the sage that left him the house to live there, and heads in anyway after being disappointed to find that the monsters deeper in the forest don't feel much stronger. Yuha decides to head back home, but hears a creature crying out. It is being attacked, but Yu determines that he can't help it. As the ox attack, damage is a ridiculous 20,000. Begins to leave, but can't stand to let the beating continue and decides to help, even if it means he will get tossed around. He throws his spear first, and prepares to follow up with the sword strike, but is shocked to find that his spear ended the fight already. He can't understand how that could be, but remembers how he was even able to defeat a powerful monster when he was just level 1. And he credits the stage for making such incredible weapons. The little creature he saved tries to be brave, but it faints so Yu heals it. The little thing has no parents and accepts Yuha's offer to go home with him. He names it Night and is shocked to find that it's level 500 when they get home. Yuha realizes that he hasn't been leveling up even after defeating monsters and determines that he has to figure out how leveling works at school. Kaya gets a bit too excited when she hears Yuha has a dog, but he can't show them pictures since he doesn't have a smartphone. He has never had a need for a phone, but begins to consider it when his new friends explain the benefit. Needs to buy pet supplies and Keta offers to accompany him. She wonders out loud if it could be considered a date, but takes it back when she thinks Yuha hurt her. Afterwards, Yuha shows Knight all the things he bought for him with Kiri, as if he needed another reason for people to stare at him. He takes Knight for a walk and people can't help but admire them. They ran into Kiri and as she pets Knight, Yuha explains that he took them in because he had no family. Mia walks up to them and Kiri instantly recognizes her as a famous model. Yuha explains that they just met recently and everyone around them stares at the attractive trio. Mio is glad to hear that Yuha will be walking Knight in that park more often, as she now has something else to look forward to. After Mio leaves, Kiri nervously asks Yuha if the two of them are dating. Yuha denies it as he states that he isn't good enough for Mio, but Kiri blurts out that he is. Just then a thief steals a purse, and Yuha commends Knight to go after him. The elderly woman is concerned about her purse, but Yuha points out that his puppy has it taken care of. The thief attempts to attack Kiri who's calling the police, but Yuha instantly stops him, and she thanks him yet again for saving her. Again, back in the new world, Yuha and Knight work together to defeat several monsters, as he wants to conquer the woods so they can travel further. As they do so, they encounter a deer that is at a level even higher than the terrifying, or its stats reveal that it uses magic and Yuha shock to see that it somehow senses him. The fight begins as the deer demonstrates its amazing power and ability to use two types of magic. Ye comes up with a plan to have Knight create an opening, but the deer shows off more of its power. Knight finally manages to take a chunk out of its neck, and he finishes it off. He realizes that the deeper into the forest they go, the more strategic they have to be. But that's perfect for training. A rare drop has come from the monster, and it surprisingly creates any kind of bath anywhere. After taking a quick bath at home, the two continue fighting in the woods, but struggle with one opponent's speed. Yuha figures out its movements though, and they finally manage to defeat the powerful creature. Is glad to see that he has been leveling up again and Knight is as well. Just then the entrance to a cave is revealed, and a scan reveals that there are no living creatures inside while exploring. They discover a corpse and Yuha stunned when he finds a book titled Book of the Sage. Elsewhere, we get a very quick glimpse as someone in a mask who's asked to eliminate someone back in the cave. Yuya reads that the sage was able to do everything: magic, martial arts, fencing, cooking, and singing. He mastered anything and everything. As a result, he entered the realm of gods while still alive. The gods asked him to join them, but he declined their invitation. The sage warns that the strength of person reading now possesses is even more powerful than he knows. One day, the humans around him will begin to fear him just like they did the sage. The book goes on to say what a lonely existence this type of life is and doesn't want the reader to go through what he did. EU wonders how to avoid this, and the book somehow knows to explain that he must build human relationships, which he can trust people that stay by your side. No matter what Yuha thinks about how he just started having friends, so this might be hard for him. The book seemingly knew this as well and explains that he should find these friends at his own pace. The book is then filled with everything the sage knows of magical theory. But in other worlds such as Yuha does not possess magical pathways, the sage has decided to give Yuha his magical pathways, as they seem to be quite valuable in this world. Yaya has a hard time just taking everything, but the sage explains that as long as Yuha can live a fulfilling life, then it's okay. Yuha then thanks the sage for the ability to use magic and wishes him peace. Using magic isn't that easy though, as he still needs to harness magical energy to make use of the magical pathways. After taking some time to learn how to sense magic, he does what the book instructs to summon it. This part is a bit simpler as Yuha surprises himself with how powerful his magic is at the kingdom. The king is glad to hear that Lexi met with her savior, but one accidentally reveals that she proposed to Yuha. The king becomes furious and called Yuha Weasel for seducing his daughter. Yuha goes back to school, but thinks about how the sage also warned that he should be very careful about when and where he uses his magic. The teacher explains that they'll be having off-campus studies soon, and they will be camping in the woods. They will be divided into teams of 4 in Yuha years. Team consists of Akira, Kiri, and a new girl named Rin. Yuha explains that he doesn't have a camping bag, so Keta offers to go shopping with him. They meet with Kiri who will be joining them, and Rio's surprised to see that Yuha is friends with her, since she's the daughter of the chairman. Aki couldn't come along, but Wish said he could, so he could give his very tasteful advice. Kiri ends up being the one to find the perfect bag for Yuha, and it is explained that they can bring things like books and cards on the trip. With the shopping done, they head to the arcade, and Yuha tries a crane game for the first time. He uses his detect weakness skill to determine the best course of action and amazes everyone when he wins. They each want Ye to win things for them and point out how good he is at games, but Yuha just credits his good luck. Rio wants to head to the cafe on the 7th floor, but the girls decide to do a bit more shopping, while the guys catch a break. Rio tries to show how elegantly grown men drink coffee, but just burns himself. Yuha explains to the boys how much fun he has been having, and they determine they should all come to the mall more often. However, just then the fire alarm rings, and they find that there is a fire on the 10th floor, and the girls are on the 13th. They try to get to the girls' better, stopped and told to evacuate. Kei calls them and apologizes for not being able to get out in time. Yuha wastes no time and immediately sprints past the guard and thinks about how he must protect the girls. He finds the raging fire and determines that this is the time to use magic. Yuha covers himself in water and makes his way through the flames as we see that the girls are in bad shape. Yuha pushes himself as hard as he can while thinking about the girls and eventually gets to them. He analyzes the building to find that everyone has evacuated and lifts all 3 girls. Yaya isn't sure if his magic will hold up or even if he will be able to make it out carrying them all. He has no choice but to try though, and his friends nervously wait outside. He reaches a dead end and gets in a bad spot, but comes up with an idea. His friends become even more concerned about them, but we see that he just burst straight through all the floors. No one saw this, but his friends notice him standing there and come to his aid. He was scolded by everyone for being so reckless, but Kiri thanks him for yet again saving her. Yuha had to come up with a lie to explain how he got them out, and later we see that he returns, carries pin that he won for her. Ye becomes a bit sad when he sees how nice families act, but arrives home and is happy to be greeted by night elsewhere. A talking rabbit is attacked. It questions a young girl about how she can attack a being with sacred status such as himself. The girl explains that she has decided to destroy the world since it can't be saved and it isn't worth protecting. She invites the rabbit as she plans to use his power to help destroy the world and leaves. The rabbit is in awe of this girl's power and determines that he must stop her at all costs, even if this means that he must pass on his secret techniques as the deity of kicks. Thanks for watching part 2. The end. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get new anime recaps.